Would you live in a building that's dilapidated? That means it's an abandoned building. Would you live in a place that has no doors, no windows, no locks? Now, we're going to take out the fact that sometimes, based on circumstances and people that you have no other choice, some people end up living in these circumstances, but believe me, are living in under those conditions, but a lot of times they don't. Ideally, no one wants to have to deal with that. So, based on that, let's talk about that. You're not going to live in an abandoned house without windows and doors or locks, no carpet on the floors, everything is dirty. You're not going to drink water or anything that has harmful substances in it. When you go to the store, you're not going to buy moldy bread. If you go to the store, you're not going to buy milk that someone is drinking out of it, or the seal has been compromised. You bring it back to the store. Or if you can see it immediately, you see some food, the meat is expired or it is starting to discolor. You're not going to do that. So why is it that people choose to be in broken relationships? Why are people choosing to be in rotting relationships, expired relationships, drunk out of relationships, something where somebody else is drinking out of your stuff, someone else is having a partaking of your boyfriend or girlfriend, someone else has their time and their emotions. The same thing as if you go into the store, you see someone drinking out of the milk jug, you're not only you're going to be appalled by that, you're not going to buy that. You're going to make it a point not to. You're going to make it a point not to buy that item, those chips that's been opened up and someone probably ate some. You see it's open, it's compromised. You're not going to take that. So why is it that sometimes we're careless in our own relationships and in our own relations? You wouldn't live in an abandoned building. You wouldn't live in a place where the windows are broken out and the floors are messed up and there are holes in the wall, but you will live that type of relationship. You have someone like that under your roof, putting holes in the walls and creating an unstable environment. And when these things happen, we have to always look at ourselves. That is the first person you look at before you blame your boyfriend, girlfriend, ex-husband, ex-wife, or ex-partner, ex-friend. Look at yourselves. We have to, guys. And it's not because I want you to think that you deserve that treatment. I'm not saying that you were not worthy of better treatment. But in order for you to get better treatment, for you to understand your worth, you have to look in the mirror and take a look at why you chose to be in this relationship, why you allowed these individuals to do what they did to you. Because a lot of times it has to do with something inside of ourselves. And you sometimes have to do some homework. It could be some things that happen in your childhood. Sometimes you'll find that this person has a lot of the traits as some of your family members. Perhaps it was a parent, a guardian, the people in your community. Something in some way they're similar. If you're used to being ridiculed and bullied when you were younger, then sometimes you think that's normal. Sometimes you find someone, they're nice to you, but they were also mean to you. They were kind, but they were also harmful. You may be with someone, they're funny, and there's someone in your family or in your environment, they were very funny, but then they're also cruel. And so you will be with that person. Why? Because there's a part of them that draws your attention. You always have to look at, why did I choose a specific man or woman? Why did I continue to go forward even when they were treating me in this manner? The answer belongs in you. And once you see that, you recognize, why am I choosing these type of individuals? Why do I always have these kinds of friends? When you get to that, now you have the homework and the legwork of learning yourself, learning about what your insecurities are, learning what the self-loathing you may have, or insecurities or uncertainties within yourself. And it's going to take time and effort and prayer and counsel and tears and being real with yourself, and now learning how to walk differently, make different choices. And it's not something that's just going to come immediately, but it takes time and practice. Because if you've always been walking, if you've been curved all your life and you've been used to walking with your back hung over, it's going to take time and practice to learn how to sit upright. Why? Because you're not used to it. Sitting upright feels uncomfortable. Sometimes I have to make sure I do that looking at my posture. It's more comfortable to kind of hunch over, sitting at a desk and all that. But when I tell myself and I discipline myself to sit up straight, it feels uncomfortable. And it's the same thing when you are making different choices in your life in terms of the people that you're going to be around and the type of relationship that you're going to have. It's going to feel uncomfortable because it's going to feel as if it's impossible to meet anyone who has manners or who has certain values and core beliefs that matches your own. So a lot of times people will rather just lower the standard, get back down in the hunch, and hey, whoever I get, I just have to go through this warpath with them and hope for the best. Or they may be dogging me out, but I'll focus on how nice they are or how much we connect. So as I said, the first thing is to look at yourself in the mirror and see why you're choosing, who you're choosing, the legwork, prayer, asking God to help you to change your mindset. Go get the counseling that you need. You can't afford counseling, guys. There are tons of stuff on YouTube where they're counselors online for free. Okay? So, and books. And you have to come to terms with yourself. When you do that, now you're going to make better decisions. Because as I said before, if you went to the store, you're looking for the best meats, okay? And even if you're a person, you're looking for some meats and some things that may be on sale, you don't want to be rotting, okay? They're not going to sell you rotten food at the store. Okay, they're going to sell you something that's cheaper, but you may have like a time frame that you need to cook it, but they're just not going to put out stuff that's bad for you. So we know within ourselves that you're not going to go buy rotting meat. You're not going to go buy bread that has been half eaten out of and drinks that someone opened up, they popped the cap, they broke the seal and drank out of it. So why are we being okay with that in relationships? As I said, there's a lot of unfinished business walking around. There's a lot of broken people walking around who they refuse to work on themselves. They keep going into other relationships. And if someone is whole, they pretend to be whole and then go in their lives and break them. Or they meet someone else who does not have themselves together, still have a lot of emotional baggage, a lot of negative mindset and thinking. And now they get together and destroy one another. And now, whatever, if they were, a half of a person, now they're going to be less than that. So if you think about it, if you think about a home that's being built, you're getting your home built from scratch. You cannot go and live in it while it's still under construction. You cannot do that. It's not comfortable. It's not safe. It's not feasible. You will not enjoy the comforts of it because it's not complete. So what do? Right now, you may have to live in your apartment or stay at a friend's or at a hotel, wherever you are, or you're living in another country in your small place right now, and you're waiting for the completion of your home. And when it's done, it's completed. And what do? When you're having your home built, you're looking at all the little patterns and color palettes and things that you want, where you want things to be, what you want your countertops to be, and you wait, and the builders do it, and they come and you look at it again, and you may say, no, I don't like that. All those things have to go into a home before now it becomes a place that's comfortable for yourself, for your family. It's safe. Everything is done right. Now you can enjoy it. But what are people doing? A lot of times people are being willing to be with individuals who are still under construction or who have just ceased building altogether. So imagine a house where it's being built and they go, well, we're just going to fix this part. I don't want to pay for this part. You guys just do this part, fix this part up, and then I'll get around to knick-knacking and fixing the back end. I'll get around to fixing the to fix the, what do I want to call it? I can see it in my mind. I'll do the patio myself. I'll get to that. I'll do the deck myself. But this person is not someone that's going to work on the deck. They're going to sit there and say what they're going to do, but they're never going to get to it. So there's always this raggedy part of the house. This part looks nice, but this part they don't want to work on, but they say they're going to do it. And you think about what that will look like. And a lot of times that is what is happening in relationships, where no matter how much a person pretends and try to be a certain way, eventually they're going to show you who they are. And when they show you who they are, their deck's not done. This person has a lot of things broken down within them. And they're making you promises that, yeah, I'm going to buy the tools. I'm going to do this. I'm going to get the material. I'm going to go to the Home Depot. I'm going to go to the Lowe's. I'm going to go here and I'm going to build this. These are the promises that they're making you and telling you that they're going to do. Or you're looking at their potential and you're waiting for them to be complete. And so you're in these relationships with people who has potential and making promises and they never get around to it. And eventually what happens? You just get used to the broken, incomplete deck. The patio without the steps, the patio that still had the cement block on the bottom. You never finished, never got the awning, never did the things that you said you were going to do. And this is what happens in a lot of these relationships. You become conditioned to it. A person will show you who they are. They'll show you. And yes, people can make mistakes, but doing something repeatedly is not a mistake. But truly, a lot of people are willing to stay in that incomplete frame of a relationship to say, well, I'm in a relationship. They're willing to hear the promises of what they're going to do and what they promise they're going to be. And then after a while, they become irritated when you're expecting what they promised of you. That person, people need to work on themselves. People, when you see that they're not who they say they are, they need to work on themselves. They're responsible for that. It is not you. You are not responsible for helping this woman through her hard childhood and who abused her. She has to work on that, especially when she is trying to offset all the abuse and put all that weight on you. You're not responsible for the brokenness of that man and what he had going on and who he could be, because you're trying to take that up and they have nothing to give to you. And what happens in the process, you will get broken, you will get conditioned with a constant abuse and the disappointment, and you will become like them. That's why it's important when these things happen and the person is showing that they're a liar, they're a cheater, they can't keep their promises, they're jealous, you have to disconnect from them. And that is not being a bad friend, and that is not unforgiveness, because if you stay around them, and what's going to happen, because you're not trying to hurt them, you're open, you love them, you care about them, so they will destroy you. Suddenly you're going to learn how to cuss. Suddenly you're going to learn how to argue back. Suddenly you may find the need to cheat on them, find the need to hurt them, get violent, fight them back. And none of those things are going to pan out or be positive in the end. It's not going to help you out in the end. There are lots of people who are broken and they are irresponsible. They don't have accountability, and they're always looking for a host. They're finding a person they can get on and stick to and get what they can get out of them. And when it's all done, they'll jump off and leave and go find someone else. People want companionship, but they're not about reciprocating. That's how you end up running into individuals who will end up doing something really bad, or the person that was always quiet and kind being abused for so long, they can snap and do the unthinkable. They end up going to prison. They end up going to jail because they've been taking and taking and taking and taking. And all of a sudden, everything comes out. They end up doing something wrong, or they can end up dying, or they end up having a lifetime disease. There's so many people who are married. They want to be married so badly. And this husband and wife are doing so many things. They have a child that was born after they got married, and the husband is not the father. or the wife is not the mother of the child. And oh, we're going to keep going, and we're going to keep going. And that's hurtful and it's abusive to that person, and the poor child is going to be reviled and hated. And if the couple had children, if the married couple had children, there's this outside child, now there is this perpetual problem that could happen that the child would experience even with the children of the marriage. So guys, we have to be accountable for our own actions and our own responsibility. And the biggest thing with a lot of people is the fear of being afraid. So what they do is they will pretty much salvage whatever good qualities there is in this person that they're with. They're so afraid to be alone that they'll salvage whatever they can. They're going to look at, well, the good parts of this person, okay? So they're willing to eat around it. So imagine just some food. It's someone brings you a dish and there's parts of the food that's old and rotting. But you're going to go and you're going to eat the good parts. There's parts of it that hasn't rotted yet. I'm going to eat this part, but not that part. If you really think about that, that's disgusting, right? If someone brings you a cup and you can see around the rim that there's some little marks all around it, but you find one little spot on the glass that's clean. Well, I'll drink off of this end. There's no way we would do that. However, we find that when it comes to people and individuals, it's the same thing. Ignoring the chronic behaviors in this person that's wrong, and you're going to look at, well, this person makes me laugh. Well, they have a nice body. You know what? They are kind around Christmas time. Oh, they do this and that for me. No, that part that's wrong with them, you have to look at it, especially if it's something that is causing the relationship to deteriorate. It is shaking the trust and the stability of the relationship. You have to look at that. And it's not your job to fix these individuals. They have to want to change. There is no point in talking to a man over and over again and what he needs to do and how he should be as a man. There's no point in doing that with a woman because they already know. And they're not children. They're past the phase of counsel and advice. They know better. They just want you to believe that they want to change so they continue to get whatever they can get out of you until they get tired of you or until someone new comes along. And you're going to know when someone new comes along because they're not going to care anymore. They're not going to want to apologize. They're not going to care about apologizing to you. They're not going to care about explaining to you anymore. They're going to become indifferent a lot of times because now there's someone else in the picture and things are looking really good. And he or she, they are pretty certain that they can start fresh with this person so they don't need to explain to you anymore. And people that go through their life hurting other people and causing harm and causing pain, you're going to get your just desserts. That's just life. What you sow, you're going to reap. And remember, when you sow one seed in the ground, if I sow and put down one apple seed in the ground, I'm going to get a tree and I'm going to get a lot of apples. And it's going to continue to bear from season to season to season. So what you do to others is going to be done back to you. I would just encourage you to be prayerful and ask the Lord to really help you, to change your heart, to bring you back to your beginnings, maybe those things that you've been afraid to look at. Take time for yourself to heal. Don't be in a rush to jump into relationships. Rather, heal. Because when you heal and you see yourself and you face the ugliness in you and the things that need to change, you're going to be in a better place to discern other people and to discern their motive and their intentions. And you're going to be strong enough and you're going to be whole enough to say, no, this is not what I'm going to do. And you're going to see it, that they're not even going to get a chance to have coffee with you or sit with you in a cafe or meet with you. You're going to see it because God begins to put his wisdom, his knowledge, his understanding, discernment in you. You call it intuition. Intuition will make you realize something is wrong. Discernment will show you exactly what is wrong and what you need to do. Let's continue to grow together and learn together. And as I said in the past, what God has for you, you're not going to miss it. So stop being desperate. Stop holding on to things that's broken. Stop holding on to things with jagged edges. Stop getting burns on your hands trying to make something happen. You cannot force someone to love you. You cannot force someone to have manners and be respectful. You do not have to stay in a relationship because they told you this sob story about their childhood and their beginnings, because a lot of times that's how they will trap you. It is not that their hurt and pain is not legitimate, but they don't have a right to put that off on you. Beware of people that's always telling you about all the stuff that's happened to them, because that's how they're going to break through your barriers. And so you're going to be stuck with them because you know that this person was suicidal or this person came from this bad relationship. So you feel like you need to fill in for where their parents did not. That is not your job. And these people that want to play games and make you feel like, oh, well, if you leave me, I'll kill myself. No, you need to get away from that person. You need to report them. And especially if you're a teenager, you need to report it. Get out of that. Get out of that situation. Get them the help that they need, because believe me, if they'll kill themselves, they will kill you too. All right, guys.